of the week. And you know what? Full disclosure, wasn't here yesterday. A lot of stuff going on. I can assure you that this time when I say this, I mean it. We're not missing another day until the end of the season, man. Goodness gracious, I'm terrible. Welcome back to Daily Dive. You're watching the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. I am your host, Michael Carvelis in Guyton, Georgia. It is Friday, April 18th, 2025. We are live on 12-ounce Sports via X, YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV. Reminder to subscribe to the 12-ounce Sports YouTube channel for other great shows in live sports. And I just want to say that the college lacrosse watch hours have been bumping. So people love them some college lacrosse. It's hard to come by free these days, but we're doing our Dan Aresti impressions over here. So that's really cool. We love us some Dan Aresti, by the way. Always giving us good updates on that stuff. We also love Adam Levi. He'll be on the show today. That's on today's awesome show. I will have a betting preview for week 21. Pat Gregoire tried his darnest to make it work, whether I was sleeping or OTCB was being recorded or Pat's just traveling because he loves the league. It didn't work out, okay? So we both hated that it couldn't happen this week. We couldn't make it happen the last 2 days. That's fine. You know what? I can do it. We're good. Also, predictions. My Pick'em and the crew's best bets. All right, let's bring in friend of the program, as they say on the Pat McAfee show, Adam Levi. Buddy, has Preston made his picks?
He has made his picks, Mike. Hoping for an 8-0 weekend. Not sure that's going to happen, but that is the beauty of Preston's picks, is that you never know what you're going to get from him, except when it comes to the Halifax Thunderbirds. Birds, he loves that club. That is clearly his favorite logo. He needs to get out to a game. He needs to see what it's like in the nest. So other than that, go check out Preston's picks. It is live on my Twitter.
And well, that's of course we always recommend the video. You can also compete with the youngling, Master Skywalker. I'm here to take all your picks. But no, go officepooljunkie.com. Love that stuff. It's right there with who you got. I kind of like just a straight up pick 'em. No, I mean I love the confidence meter too, but pick 'em against Preston was wild. I think I don't have a chance to win. I think I did the math and there's like 16. I could be wrong. Players that are eligible to win. And that's like if the top guy goes 0-8 basically.
Right.
But it's very close.
Yeah, there's I forget who it was, but one person has 85 points. That's the leader, and I think there were 5 people tied at 84 points. So with a 1-game swing, including your bonus little point that you get for your top pick, anything could change for any game. So I can't wait to see who everyone has picked for this weekend, because whoever wins at the end of the weekend is going to be getting season tickets for next season to the team of their choice, which is what you guys have all been competing for. So that'll be exciting. And also, Mike, I will break it right now. I got an awesome note from Office Pool Junkie saying that they will have NLL playoff pools available. So Preston will be making playoff picks, and I will put that out today so you can start signing up for the playoff pool. Haven't determined what the prize is for that yet, but you don't want to miss the action. Anytime you can beat a 3.5-year-old, you got to take that opportunity. You don't get many of those.
Playoff Preston's a real thing, though.
Yeah, I believe so.
Katrina, this is a great name. Katrina Me Lane.
Yeah.
Has 86. And then there's, there's 4 tied at 85.
Yep.
Y'all have fun with that. I'm not eligible to win it, but I'm still going to fight this week. I'm going to take some people down who don't deserve it. Okay. You know what's also going to be a big week 21? The actual games being played.
Yeah, I think so. I think you are spot on there, and it starts in a few hours, which is great. And I think that it's actually really cool that you are starting the show later, because we are even closer to NLL action now.
That's a good point. And by this point, every Friday, Preston Adam Jr. is going to be making his picks, so it's going to be great.
Yeah.
He'll have released them by that point. Okay. So let's do this in chronological order. We're doing Toronto. You put Rochester. Do you mean Halifax or do you mean an actual? They're also playing. I just realized I forgot the doubleheader. So let's do the Rochester Toronto game first.
Yeah, let's do that. And I know that Pat isn't able to make it, as you said in the intro. So if there's any questions you have about any games, feel free to ask. And I can also do my best Pat Gregoire impression. I'm not wearing a fancy suit. I saw that you were featuring him on Fresh Fits. Well deserved by Pat Gregoire. A little offended that my cheap hoodies didn't make it to the list, but I'll work on that. But yes, with this
double header for Toronto right now.
Yeah, if we're starting with that Saturday game, I mean, that is going to be a really interesting one. Rochester, for them, if they want to have any chance of hosting a home playoff game, they need to be winning. So there is a lot on the line there. But they also know the reality where they understand that the Vancouver Warriors have the edge, and so do the Halifax Thunderbirds. Yeah. So, they have to just control their own fate in this one. No Rylan Reese again this week. So, that is unfortunate news. And as I said previously on this program, hopefully that is a precautionary thing. I know the injury didn't look very good as he got twisted up with Trevor Baptiste a couple of weeks ago, but hopefully he'll be ready for the playoffs. The interesting thing for them, especially if Vancouver wins, is that there's a very, very good likelihood that Rochester is going to be facing Vancouver in the first round of the playoffs, whether they're hosting Vancouver or whether they're going to Vancouver themselves. So I think that, watching that game, which starts 2 hours after their game starts, so they'll be able to watch the majority of that game, will be important just to get some kind of a sense of what's going on and the opponent that they're going to be playing. Going to be interesting to see what Rylan Hartley can bring once again. A great goaltender. And think about that, actually. Rylan Hartley, Christian Del Bianco quarterfinals matchup. I mean, that is special.
5-4, I'm calling it now.
I mean, look, a great defensive battle can be as exciting, at least to the enthusiasts, as a high-scoring match. So that would be fantastic. But yeah,
the dynamic, real quick. Yep. Dynamic of Rochester offense would also be insane. But keep going.
Yeah, no, but I think, and also in this one, the injury report might be updated tomorrow after this game. Toronto is playing 2 games, but without Tom Schreiber, without Dan Craig, they don't have anything to play for at this point. So, what are we going to get out of that game? I mean, that really has a lot of good fortune for Rochester, which is great for them. Whereas in the other game, it'll be really interesting. Philadelphia, if they're still hanging on for that Vancouver game at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, with all the things they need to happen, I mean, that is going to be an exciting game. But I believe I said it to Stamper on our program, It Wobble Inside the World of Box Lacrosse this week, that, one of the things that's so interesting about that Philadelphia Wings Club, and I know I'm transitioning into the other game, but they all kind of meld into each other because of the playoff consequences, that you might be in a situation in Vancouver where even if Philly's not playing for a playoff spot and they've been systematically eliminated, Mitch Jones, unrestricted free agent, Joe Rezateritz, unrestricted free agent, a bunch of other guys who are unrestricted free agents, back-to-back seasons that were quite disappointing. Is this the point where these guys say, I don't know if we're ever going to play a game with this group of guys again, and we're going to go our own ways? And so if you're playing your last game for that crew, that group of guys, that might drive them to surprise Vancouver in a way that Vancouver might not be ready for. And I know that's crazy to sound because Vancouver looks ready to beat anybody, but I think Philadelphia really could surprise some people.
You said that to me in private as well, and I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that. But one last point on the Toronto-Rochester game, then we can go to that Vancouver-Philadelphia game.
Yep.
Toronto, speaking of pride, should have about the only thing left. Like, that's all they have left at this point as well, because Desert Dogs have given them the number 1 pick. God bless them. Jimmy Talbot.
Yeah.
I don't know if Toronto losing would incentivize them. I don't know if they own their pick, but I feel like they're also like locked into that 13 spot, so they're pretty much playing with anything like house money at this point, right?
Yeah. So the way that
even if they don't own that pick.
Yeah, so actually, if Philadelphia wins and Albany loses, Albany would be above Philadelphia for that pick. So they wouldn't have the 1, 2, and the 3. I think it then would be the 1, 2, and the 4 if I have that correct. But I am not Evan Schemenauer or Graham Perros. So excuse me if my draft
swarm it up
is wrong or swarm it up. The corporal does amazing work with that. Really, anyone who's putting together these extensive databases to collect all this valuable data for all of us to use and to be able to talk to all of your viewers and everyone else about what's going on around the National Lacrosse League is amazing. Actually, that kind of goes into, and you had guessed it, Mike, my featured guest of the week on the Lacrosse Matrix podcast this week, which was Graham Perro. Great conversation with Graham, very extended, over an hour on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, with Graham and I, we're on the same page. We're Nugget nerds when it comes to the NLL, and hearing his story and going over different scenarios was super cool. So check that out on Spotify and the Lacrosse Culture Daily podcast network.
Speaking of just Nuggets, like Angel Reese getting a McDonald's deal before Graham and Adam did was pretty insane, I think.
Yeah,
no offense to Angel Reese, but good Lord.
I agree. Now I can't play basketball as well as Angel Reese, but I haven't seen her tweet, but I bet I could tweet better than her.
Oh, rough. Well, you're the journalist. I hope so. So, we're just gonna go to the Vancouver, like I said, Philadelphia game.
Yep.
This is like we are divided, man. Like full disclosure, I think Warriors might like stomp them. The only thing that scares me is, like you said, that pride for Mitch Jones and Joe Rez, friends of the show. Brandon O'Neill, hopefully future amigo, because he is electric. Him, Dyson, and all the rookies have been just so impressive.
Yeah.
But man, like Nick Damu's got to step up a little bit if that's to happen, right?
Well, I mean, who knows if they're going with Damoud or if they're going to stick with Deacon,
that's a good point.
Who has been great for them. And at this point of the season, why not ride the hotter hand? I mean, it's unfortunate that he let his great 3 quarters slip away in their last game. I mean, he was phenomenal this past week, and then allowed 8 or 9 goals in the fourth quarter.
Jordan McIntosh, but you're right.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, you want to see Deacon. He's young. And, he's been so patient. He's very talented. He's been waiting for this opportunity.
Minto Cup, right?
Yeah, Minto Cup winner with the Burlington Blaze.
That was my first Minto Cup I watched, by the way. That's how I know that.
Well, there you go. I mean, look, the more summer ball you're watching, the more you're going to learn about a lot of these up-and-coming talents around the National Lacrosse League. And Deacon was one of those. So, I mean, if Deacon's in net, I mean, really good for him, for sticking out and being patient. I believe I wrote in my Lacrosse Culture Daily by the numbers piece this week. Mitch Jones, he's only played 2 games against Vancouver since he's been traded, but he's averaging 10 points a game against the Warriors when he plays them. So he loves to be back at home, and who knows?
Right.
I don't have any information, but who knows if this is the last game he plays in Vancouver before he joins Vancouver again. That could always be out there. But it's Kurt Malosky has his plan. He likes to keep it secret.
Just so for reference, by the way, the Wings beat the Warriors. This was without Delbienko, but again, Aiden Walsh was no scrub. January 20th, 14-13. That was in Philly. So this matchup could be close. I mean, I'm calling it like I think Delbienko's been impressive, and I know that. We're going to go here. You had tweeted out that Steven Stamp reached out and said that Delbienko was eligible, and Delbienko even chimed in with my quote there. But I feel like this Warriors team has been special with Delbienko. I feel like that little difference could be the difference. But like you said, Deacon Knott could also switch the paddle a little bit here. It's a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have to see what happens in terms of the MVP race. That's something that Stamper and I also talked about on It Wobble this week. I had a really tough time deciding between Connor Fields and Jeff Teat. I don't have the.
I say if Teat makes the playoffs, I said that it's
Yep.
got to be up there.
I wish I had the nugget. I haven't had the time to look it up, but I need to put it out into the universe. The very interesting thing about Ottawa that is against Jeff Teat, believe it or not, is that he's been on this phenomenal stretch, let's say the last 7 games. In Ottawa's last 7 games, let's say 8 games, they're 3-5. When Teat was struggling to start the season, they were 6-4. So, it's interesting that they did better as a team when he wasn't playing at his best. And now Connor Fields, who's been great all year, the team is on a historic, potentially 7-game win streak, which would be the first time they've done that in over a decade.
Can't believe I'm doing this, but to defend Adam's criticism or context of Jeff, I'll call it context of Jeff Teat there. I can't believe how the tables have turned on this. But the point is, someone was asking, was talking to me. I won't say who it was. It was a media member. Was not Pat Gregoire. But it was interesting because they were like, Mitch Jones went out against Georgia, and they gave the classic. Well, all of a sudden Philadelphia looks way better on offense once again. And to that, I say this, to your Jeff Teat content, because it is a noteworthy thing that has to be studied. The NBA, this happens sometimes too.
Yeah.
For 10 or 15 games when the star's out, the offense looks balanced and they're not relying on one guy.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of times though that will end up showing itself when the games get tougher and you need that guy.
Yeah.
So I do love the context. I thought the viewers, because again, something that I would point out for sure. But I do think that it's an interesting piece. But I think in the end, it'll prove itself to be Jeff Teat means a lot.
Yeah.
But it is a very interesting nugget you just pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, I forget who it was. Someone had tweeted out the difference breaking down between Jeff and Dane Smith and Josh Byrne and the difference on their teams and where they stood in terms of team points, team goals, teams assists. And Jeff Teat is 30 plus in all of those categories next to the next closest player. Which just shows how valuable he is to that team. And look, Jeff Teat, is a ridiculous athlete. I mean, the fact that he scored 8 goals and the fact that he's got 50 goals again. I mean, Mike, he's got 50 goals in back-to-back-to-back seasons.
And he shoots slow. Did you see the video?
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know if he was trying, but I'm just saying that was weird.
I forget. I think Pat Gregoire did a breakdown of Jeff Teat.
He picks his spots, man.
Yeah, he doesn't have to shoot 100 miles an hour, which, by the way, I want to say it was very cool to see at Media Day. The NLL, just put it out, and I have a comment on that as well. But at Media Day back in November, Brendan O'Neill shot the ball 105 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Very, very cool that he did that. Would have loved that if we had known that at the beginning of the season, so we could have gotten hyped about his 105 mile per hour shot. But very cool to see that it happened. I think Brennan has been as advertised.
Wait, see how we circle back to the wings there? That was how that's how good we are, okay? Wait, so in your just let's say chrome to your dome, I always say that. So life depends on it. I'll put it that way. It's a lot better than saying gun to your head. So I gotta ask, do you if you're picking for Preston, obviously Preston's got his own picks, but if you're got your money, are the Wings winning? Just tell me right now. Did you pick them in It Wobble? I'll put it that way.
Did I pick them? No, I didn't. I didn't because I think that ultimately the Vancouver train is almost unstoppable right now. They look so good, and I think that having that crowd behind them, it is really looking like they're going to have their largest crowd in history, which huge congrats to Vancouver. And also, look, I will say selfishly that while Rochester and Vancouver could be hosting playoff games in the quarterfinal if Halifax loses, I will always choose Vancouver. I've made my plans to go to Vancouver if they're hosting a quarterfinal matchup. So it'd be nice to go back to Vancouver, see some people. I haven't been back in a long time, so would like to go back there.
I had to get back to the comments because immediately when we went to the O'Neill and Jeff Teat thing, we had just the comments on the Instagram post. I think Christian Del Bianco called Jeff Teat heavyweight.
Yeah.
Someone else said O'Neill knows the trick. You got to shoot it as close to the laser as possible. That was me. Someone also mentioned that Curtis Dixon broke the netting. That was in our game this year.
Yep.
And finally, the best comment was Brandon O'Neill shoots it like a railgun.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, look, Brennan is an absolute beast. He's an absolute specimen. But also, it's unfortunate that, I'm glad that Curtis Dixon has been mentioned in a few conversations here for this award, because I know he's not going to win it unless something miraculous happens. But the season that he's had at this stage of his career, kudos to him, and he's been an incredibly valuable part of what the Calgary Roughnecks have been doing this season, he and Dane Dobie. So kudos to him, and congrats on a phenomenal season.
And Dane Dobie wants to raise his kids who are retired, but I don't know, man. He really likes playing lacrosse.
He loves playing the man. He is.
He has like 5 kids or whatever.
Dane?
He has like at least 3 kids I remember seeing one time.
That I do not know.
Oh, that's sad.
If I'm wrong, that's so bad. I don't know how many kids Dane Dobie has. So
that's interesting. So final game, we're gonna circle back to Friday.
Yep.
Firewolves and Seals.
Yep.
Possibly game of the week in just terms of flat out impact on what it could mean for both teams and the rest of the league.
Yep.
Firewolves just got a victory. Origlieri, I don't know how that's. I believe the injury report. Yep. He's not on there?
Nope, not on there at all.
Wild.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You take this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was there. I saw behind the scenes. It did not look pleasant. There was a lot of concern about Christopher Origlieri and his injury. I'm very happy. It appears that he's doing well and that he will be playing tonight. But yeah, this game, I mean, it means everything to each of these clubs, and there are guys that are banged up. There are guys that are still recovering from injuries that have returned. I mean, this is going to be a leave it all on the floor type of battle. San Diego literally needs this win to have any chance of making it to the playoffs. That is their only playoff scenario, to win and be in. If they lose, then
love those.
So that is huge, and to do it in front of their home crowd, which San Diego has been hyping up as one of their largest crowds, so many sold out sections, so that is huge. But Albany, they have not stopped for 1 second in the second half of the season here. I know, as you pointed out, Dan Arestia was the first to say that it would be a hot take if they made the postseason. I jumped on that bandwagon myself.
I'm up there.
Yeah, after they beat San Diego, the confidence is high. They're not overthinking things there, Mike. I talking to Will Johansson and to Ty Kurtz after that game,
they're not bad, by the way.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, they're pumped up. They're excited. They're keeping things simple. They're loose. They're sticking to the game plan. It's incredible to see a young team like them be this focused and determined. And I'm going to give some credit. Obviously, it goes to the coaching staff a lot, and it goes to the young guys themselves. But since Colton Watkinson has come back into that lineup, their captain.
You said that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, he has been electric. And, to be without Jackson Nishimura for so many games and without John Wagner. John Wagner was a pivotal point, we can't forget, during their finals run last season. I mean, he was a game changer when he came over in the trade from Las Vegas. And to be without him, is huge. And so Colton has been fantastic. Everyone's been stepping up. It's been great to see. It looks like the Albany Firewolves from last season.
I think I said this on Wednesday, the last show I did on Wednesday's show, that I might have them as like the 4th best team behind the Vancouver. And that's like snubbing Saskatchewan. Like, I'm not kidding. Because Albany made the finals last year, like you said.
Yep.
That cannot be dismissed. And Glenn Clark, Coach of the Year, might be you talk about Jeff Teed if he sneaks in.
Yeah.
If Firewolf sneak in, Glenn Clark might be on some ballots all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. I mean, they were 2-8, I think it was.
It's crazy.
At some point of the season. So, I mean, really phenomenal turnaround from them. But yeah, I mean, I think that this has been so exciting, and I'm so glad. I don't know how I was able to orchestrate this, Mike, but since my Bandits are making the NLL unfun tweet, man, NLL has been so much fun. I mean, really. And this is no slight on the Bandits, who I do still think are the favorites to win the NLL Cup. I want to be very clear. However, I do think that there are now 4 or 5 teams, depending on who makes the postseason, that in that first round, even in a best of 3, that it is not certain that the Bandits are going to come out of that on top. And I think that
see, now you're a hater again, even though I don't see how this works. Like, both ways you lose, Adam.
I mean, look, I'm just saying it like it is. The competitiveness and the parity around the National Lacrosse League right now is phenomenal. It is more than we could have asked for, and I think that is great for the league, great for the future. And you're seeing in the attendance, people are showing up to games in record numbers. There's going to be yeah, I am very excited. Mike, you'll have to report while you are in the game what the attendance is. Very excited to hear what they're going to draw. I did hear that a lot of Buffalo fans are coming down for this one. They do travel well. But if Georgia fans show up, Lyle Thompson, as we know, is never, ever, ever going to give up on a game, especially when the playoffs are on the line. And who's going to be watching that game very closely, Mike, is the Albany Firewolves, because in 3 of their 4 scenarios, to get into the playoffs, they obviously have to beat San Diego, but they need Georgia to lose. That is essential pretty much to them getting into the playoffs. So
that makes me I'm so torn.
Yeah. Well, Buffalo, they might be without Chris Kluche and Tehoka Nanticote again, who are both listed as questionable. Also, we don't know how long or how hard those guys are going to play, knowing they've locked up the number 1 seed, but interesting that if Albany gets in, that could be a Buffalo-Albany rematch in the first round of the playoffs, which that would be phenomenal. Also, because I will be in Buffalo for that game, and boy, would I love to see that.
If this turns into an NBA game, like meaning everyone starts to rest, why am I here? Unbelievable. The Hog is not here. Josh and Dana rest in the second half. I'm going home.
Well, what I would say, let's say, if Buffalo has a good first half, but Georgia keeps it competitive and it's close, but Dane Smith has broken his points record, which he could do. And
that will happen. That will happen the first half. Will it? It would have to happen the whole game, I would think.
Well, yeah. What is he behind? 7 points?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not wishing anything, but unless he has an electric first half, there's no way.
Okay, yeah. So, but if he breaks his assist record, and or let's say he even doesn't get close to breaking either record, in the second half, do you play him? Knowing that they have to play again next weekend. There's a lot of questions, and I'm glad that I'm not John Tavares right now.
He would I love this TV right now, but he would need 9 points to break the points record. It's funny how we can go from 9th to 1st in one game, which is crazy. But the assist, he just needs 3, and that could happen easily. So
no, and I think the assists, and again, like 9 points is a lot. So if he's really not close to that, what do you do? It's going to be an interesting game. I can't wait to watch that one. Although I will be interrupting my watching that game to be watching the Vancouver game. That is for sure.
Great point. I want to let you go. It's been about 30 minutes with us, but you're generous and Pat's not here, so it worked. Thank you, Adam. Enjoy the games. We're going to be looking forward to your tweets and looking forward to your insights. And of course, next week it gets even better. So
yeah, dude, playoff lacrosse next weekend. We will talk about scheduling. I'll probably actually have to move to the Thursday time next week just because I will be going to Buffalo on Friday. And so that is going to be so exciting. Buffalo, I'm coming for you. You know, you can give as much hate to me in person as you do online. I can take
Spit on him.
Okay, let's not do that. Let's not do that. But
since you're here, Friday, I have this quarterfinal schedule. I don't know if this was released, but I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe you're right. Friday would be in Buffalo. Saturday would be in Saskatchewan for those games. If Halifax hosts, it'd be Saturday. If Rochester, it'd also be Saturday. That'll be at 5 or 7. 5 would be weird. If Vancouver hosts, it's Saturday at 10 Eastern. And if Calgary hosts, God knows. All right, thanks, Adam.
All right, Mike. Enjoy the games yourself, and thank you again for having me on.
Yes, sir. Preston's Picks, officepooljunkie.com. Adam Levi LAX on Twitter. Adam_Levy_LAX on Instagram. And Lacrosse Matrix Podcast. When we come back to this awesome show, I've got to talk about the betting this weekend because there's some interesting lines, and I actually love them, which probably is a bad thing. We're right back. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey! Okay, so that's so bad. Oh, week 21 and the NLL is back. And by the way, so Fridays, I don't do this, but I probably will start doing it again now because before, I don't know. I think we can do this back to Fridays on Spotify. But anyways, if you want an audio-only podcast of this version of the show, head to Spotify, search Daily Dive. So yeah, also go to 12ouncesports.com and click the tickets tab to get NLL tickets for less. Like, it's just, you can't beat them. All right, let's talk betting the league in week 21. Halifax, we got a bunch of games, by the way. 8 of them. Halifax, Toronto, of course, tonight in literally 2.5 hours. Thunderbirds, of course, are 4-4 on the road. The Rock are 2-6 at home. Toronto, despite being plus 2.5, won 15-12 at Halifax on March 7th. That's interesting. I know Toronto's got nothing to play for, but sometimes, I don't know if it'd be a hungry dog running faster, but it would be insane. So, Halifax was favored by 2.5. Their money line, of course, is at 260. That's on DraftKings. Total in this game, 22.5, which again is also bonkers. And I believe it's 23.5 on Bet365, by the way. So if you're in the States, or I live in Canada too. I don't live in Canada, but if you're in Canada too, 23.5 on Bet365. I'm not sure what it is on CoolBet, but 22.5 on FanDuel and DraftKings. Interesting if you like the over there, which we'll find out a little bit later. Calgary, Las Vegas. By the way, full disclosure, I should have mentioned this off top. I'm just stupid. Toronto, Rochester, not on there yet. Neither is Colorado, Calgary. So if you want to bet against Colorado because they stink right now, if you want to bet in favor of Rochester, you can't do it until tomorrow because tonight Calgary and Toronto are playing. Speaking of those teams, and of course we just talked Toronto, Halifax, Calgary at Las Vegas is another 2.5 game. I believe it's only 2.5. That's the last 2.5 game. 10:30 Eastern tonight. So you got to stay up a little bit. Calgary is 6-2 on the road, and as Ethan Teisthurst said on Morning Shoot-Around podcast with Christian Del Bianco, Tyler Pace, and Tino Farrell, which I do love, by the way. Great show. Teisthurst was like, they're frustrated. They understand how bad it looks that they're not good on the road. Like, that's a serious thing for them right now. So I feel like they might be one of those hungry dogs running faster, despite, of course, being a heavy favorite. They might be the hungry dog wanting to prove a point in Calgary. And plus, if Calgary wins their final 2 games, they go 10-8, and they are 1,000% in the playoffs. Like, just, they control their destiny. And at Las Vegas and versus Colorado, sign me up. For the matchup, like I said, Calgary 6-2 on the road. Las Vegas just 2-6 at home. They're 4-13 overall, but come on. Calgary did win on February 16th, 21-8, but that game was not in Las Vegas, so that's another interesting fact. So keep that in mind. Also, tonight, same time as that game is going on, you've got Albany Firewolves at the San Diego Seals. Now, San Diego is favored by 1.5. The total is at 22.5, a little bit low. We have heard that Origlieri seems to not be on the injury report, which could be a very big deal. Albany is plus 110 to win the game on Bet365. That's the best odds you can find there. Albany is just 2-6 on the road. San Diego is 5-3 at home. We know the history of the Seals at home. Albany, of course, just won last week at Albany, 12-10. Guys, Wesley Berg and Chris Origlieri against Doug Jameson and the young stars in Albany. It'll be a fantastic game for the San Diego Seals. We'll have to see. Albany was pesky once they got going last year, and I'm not convinced they're not done yet, so we'll have to see. Next game that's available to bet, of course, like I said, Toronto and Rochester at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Does not matter because, of course, Toronto has to play first tonight for those odds to be available. I would say lean Rochester, though, if I'm being honest, because I'm not going to be able to make the bet today. But I would lean Rochester heavy. Because I do think Toronto, the game that they're going to try to get is against Halifax, if they are going to get a game. But if they lose to Halifax, or like maybe they beat Halifax for just the sake of argument, the game against Rochester's going to smear them, in my opinion. So take Rochester minus 3.5, and I'm not kidding when I say that. Alrighty, next game you can bet, of course, Buffalo at Georgia. That game is, of course, at 7. I should know what time it is because I'm going to the game tomorrow. But 7:30 Eastern time. This game was a movie in the last year's playoffs. That was in Buffalo. I believe there was some goals scored in that game. Not a lot, but there was enough goals. Let me see if I can pull that game up right now. Here they are. No, I lied. It was 10-9 in Buffalo in the playoffs. So that's intriguing, by the way. I pulled that up on the fly. Look at me. But no, in this game, Buffalo's favored by 1.5. The total is set at 24.5, I believe, on everywhere. Where's it at? Okay, there it is. Buffalo is a historic 7-1 on the road. Georgia is a pitiful 3-5 at home. As I told you before, those guys do not live in Duluth. Buffalo, another intriguing fact, allows just 9 goals on the road. Georgia scores just 10.9 at home. Keep that in mind for my best bets. I'll say that. If my internet's freezing, who cares? I give up on the Comcast sometimes, and they're supposed to be amazing. And I'm on it, whatever. I'm on Ethernet. Give me a break. All right, 2 games left to bet this weekend of the 8-game slate. Philadelphia at Vancouver. Vancouver's favored by 1.5. It's almost at 2-1, but it's like 160 something. I believe on DraftKings. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Vancouver, yeah, minus 166 is not terrible just for a money line. I know Adam Levi said, guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't care if it's in Vancouver. I understand might play a factor, but if you're going to win, you're going to win. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose. Vancouver's on cloud 9. Who did Philadelphia beat to get on their sudden run that everyone likes to talk about? And I love the Wings. They beat the Georgia Swarm twice in a row. Before that, they lost to Colorado 10-8, lost to Toronto 15-8, lost to Ottawa 13-5. This little Georgia Swarm thing, not a concern for me. Vancouver's gonna destroy them. I'm sorry. Like that's this little Georgia. It may have helped them morale. That's about it, though. Alrighty, final game on the slate: Ottawa at Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is favored minus 1.5 on every book, I believe. There is a total discrepancy here, though. If you do like the over, it's 20.5 on Bet365. It is 21.5 on FanDuel. And DraftKings has it at 21.5. So if you like the over, Bet365 is your pal. Not saying 21.5 wouldn't be good enough, but if you like the over, if you like them to score 22 goals or 21 goals, you want Bet365. I capped the game Rush 13-9, so you see why I like that a little bit. So, yeah. When I come back, I'll give you all of my 8 score predictions. I'll also give you the crew's best bets, and I've got a massive slate for myself, and Captain and myself have a lottery. It's going to be a movie. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up next, and then we're going to enjoy some National Lacrosse League. We'll be right back. 12 on Sports Daily Dive.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME get you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Reminder to go to 12ouncesports.com and click the tickets tab, or you can go to 12ouncesports.com/tickets. Get your NLL tickets for less. It's that simple. You want it. You need it. We're excited for you to see the games. Guys, I'm telling you, the first game starts in literally a little over 2 hours. We got Toronto hosting Halifax. Before we get into our best bets, I'm going to give you my pick'em. And my pick'em record, I wish I had it off the top, but I will search through this real quick just to update that, because the graphic wasn't necessary to me anymore. Hold on, stand by. Listen to me sing and stand by. Here it is. Again, I'm going to tell you my picks in just 5 seconds here. Okay. I went 5-1 last week. I'm now 66-52. I'm very confident this week. Give me the Thunderbirds to beat the Rock 14-12. Calgary will walk into Las Vegas and take their first game of the weekend 15-11. Albany will walk into San Diego with an injured Chris Riglieri. I know he's playing. I don't count on him being awesome. Give me the Firewolves 11-9. Toronto against Rochester 13-9. And of course, Georgia hosting Buffalo. I might get hate for this when I see the sworn players face to face. Give me the Bandits 12-10. Vancouver will beat the Wings 13-11, and I think it could be worse than that. Saskatchewan will beat Ottawa 13-9, or worse, and give me the Calgary Roughnecks to beat the Colorado Mammoth at home 13-10. They make the playoffs, finish 10-8. All righty. It's time for the crew's best bets. Folks, another great weekend for us. Last weekend, let's do it again. Leroy is at 16-13 after a 2-1 week. He's got his Albany Firewolves money line plus 110 on Bet365 against the Seals. And he's got the Rush to cover the 1.5 at plus 116 on FanDuel against the Ottawa Black Bears. Captain, I'll give you his bets first, and I'll give you a lottery for Captain. Captain is 20-16, aka Patrick. He went 3-2 last weekend. He's got a minus 110 parlay. Those are really good odds on FanDuel. Thunderbirds money line, Roughnecks money line. Cupcakes might have played a part in that. If you know, you know. Captain also likes Halifax Toronto over 22.5, minus 115 on FanDuel. That game starts in 2 hours. Bandits money line, minus 170, Bet365, not a bad gig. Neither is the Warriors money line against the Wings, minus 166 on DraftKings. Those should be worse in my opinion. I know Bandits locked up the 1 seed. I don't know, man. Bandits have a deep roster. Captain also has a lottery pick, and I'm going to make sure I get these odds correctly. He says they're plus 1652. I will do them on both FanDuel and DraftKings where I have them available. He's got Halifax minus 2.5, Calgary minus 2.5, Vancouver minus 1.5, Bandits money line, Rush money line. Oh, wow. I'm making sure that works on the other book too, because this is insane. Folks, that is plus 2208 on DraftKings. It's plus 1903 on FanDuel, and Captain says plus 1652. I don't know where that's at. But listen to this again. Thunderbirds cover, Roughnecks cover, not a big deal. Bandits money line, Rush money line, Warriors cover, plus 2208. That's incredible. $5 wins you 115. That ain't a bad gig. All righty. It is now time for my best bets, and I'm going to be honest. I know Captain Leroy started late. Folks, they got to catch up regardless because I've been incredible. I'm not kidding. Folks, I am 45 on 28 after a 4-1 week last weekend. 45 and 28. I'm giving you 6 bets. Remember, our parlay count is 1. Lottery does not count, but our parlays count as 1 bet. And, of course, our straight bets count as a record, like a win or loss piece. My parlay, plus 202 on FanDuel. I'm going to confirm that's still the odds. Give me the Thunderbirds money line, the Roughnecks money line, and the Bandits money line. That is still plus 202 on FanDuel. And because I didn't check this earlier, let's do the same thing on DraftKings. It is plus 183. There you go. And again, I don't care if Bandits have locked up the 1 seed. All righty. My straight bets. And if I win all of these, if I get 5 or 6 this week, I get to 50 wins for my betting this weekend or this year. Okay? We're going to do Halifax, Toronto over 22.5, just like Captain has. We're going to do Firewolves money line against the Seals, just like Leroy has, plus 110 on Bet365. Give me Bandits the Swarm under 24.5, minus 118 on FanDuel. Warriors to cover against the Wings, plus 100 on Bet365. And give me the Rush money line, which is insane. It's only minus 134 against Ottawa on FanDuel. Folks, that's what we get. This show never stops getting better. We wish Pat Gregoire safe travels. We wish you a great weekend. We hope your team makes it, even though not all teams can. But this has been such a fun year. It's only going to keep getting better because 12-ounce sports keeps getting better. And so does lacrosse, by the way, box lacrosse. Go to Daily Dive LAX. Interact with our socials. Check out show updates. Check out the reels. Also look at graphics. And Coach Leroy is always sharing amazing Instagram stories. You can also go to the link tree in our social media bios, of course, on Instagram and Twitter, and click the link, and there you'll see our shop for the greatest merchandise in Daily Dive and, of course, Box Lacrosse podcasting history. Or go to dailydivelacks.creator-spring.com. Get your tickets at 12onsports.com. Click the tickets tab as well. Enough infomercials. You guys enjoy the games. We'll see you back Monday, 4 o'clock. Same time, same place, 12 on Sports. It'll be playoff mode. This has been another exciting regular season of Daily Dive. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.